Hey, George Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Here, international comedy icon. Yeah, thank you.
What comes to mind when I go,
Oh, cold toilet seats.
No, Cole!
I just want to say that the compliment factor truly is the greatest show on YouTube, and that George is hysterical. Actually, cameraman Rick is much funnier. But still, the good thing is you try, and that's the important thing. Anyway, keep doing what you're doing. Continued success. Rick, so funny. So funny. Who knows? Maybe we'll meet sometime in the future. Hope so. Take care.
All right, well, thanks for that, Colin. Really appreciate that. That's $100 from Cameo I'm not getting back anytime bloody soon. Yeah, well, whatever, mate. Yeah, whatever, mate. I always preferred Ryan Stiles anyway.
I highly recommend watching the best of Ryan Stiles, because sometimes it's nice to watch people who are worse off than you.
All right, Colin. All right, mate. You've had your moment. Just... it's time to get on with it now, mate. You know what I mean? Bloody hell, these Hollywood superstars constantly coming onto my channel, trying to get a gig. It's just disgusting. Anyway, welcome back to the Compliment Factor. So, for those of you who haven't ever watched the Compliment Factor before, and there's quite a few of you, because how many subscribers have I got since the last Compliment Factor? Oh, that's right, nearly 3,000. I'm actually sort of killing it a little bit. The Compliment Factor, aka the Adult Swim of the FragCon, is a show all about recent new fragrances that have come out in at least the past 6 months. Usually we try to get closer to brand new fragrances, and I talk about them in quick fire succession, but we do things a little bit differently round here. For example, Ashton Jensen's is Fragrant Jesus. Timmy from Imagine Sense is the WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. Becky Lynch is my one true love, and if I really, really like a fragrance, really enjoy it, I give it my seal of approval, which is an actual seal. I hope that we're all clear on that now. Okay, to the first fragrance. Let's go. First fragrance is a fragrance I have already spoken about, Sacco di Gio Profondo. I regret having this size of bottle. It's so funny because when Profumo came out, I got the 40ml and I felt as though I'd lost out, so I just decided to blind buy this at 125ml. The notes looked good. The fact that it was by Alberto really sort of made me intrigued, and so I just decided to go for the biggest bottle. And it's a bit rubbish, to be honest. It's fine, it's blue, it's whatever, but I don't really like it. I couldn't really recommend it. I think that it's incredibly generic. It smells pretty much like every other fragrance that's being released. I enjoy the 1 hour into it. Like I said, that's fine. A bit of muskiness, and it's quite good. But no, I'm not really a fan, and I do feel as though it's quite a hit and miss. Especially the fact that they were going to a very mature direction with Profumo, and I kind of, like a lot of people, wanted them to continue on that journey, but it's gone a lot more youthful, it's gone a lot more younger, and there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just not for me, so I don't really recommend it. Sorry. Happyland makes me happy. I've been waiting for a long period of time to be talking about these 3 fragrances, and that is of course Omland, Amberland and Paisley Sky. Happyland is getting quite a following at the moment. It's a really, really good brand. People enjoy it, I enjoy it, and I enjoy the way that they make fragrances. They take quite heavy elements such as amber, vanilla, sometimes leather, things like that, and they aerate it, they sort of knead it in a way and get all of the air out and make it light and very fluffy, and it's cool. My least favourite, I'm just going to start with that, is Omland. I get it, I do get where it's going. It's kind of like a barbershop infused with an oriental type of fragrance, so you have got that a little bit of citrus kind of style that you get in a lot of these classic barbershops, but it's also got some of this more ambery element that I think that EJ really, really enjoys. I think it's a neat experiment, and I know that certain people would really, really like it. It reminds me of things like Rive Gauche and other stuff like that, but I'm not really the biggest fan of it. Also, Omland reminds me a little bit of Dior Homme Parfum, the way that it has that sort of depth and a little bit of darkness, a bit of skankiness, but with those more prominent lighter elements. Now, I'm not a fan of Dior Homme Parfum whatsoever, but boy, oh boy, do people love Dior Homme Parfum. Of course, I've had so much feedback when I say that I don't like Dior Homme Parfum. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I don't get it. It doesn't, to me, it just smells like a really old pub in Scotland, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It just doesn't really suit me. But Homeland has kind of got tinges of that, so Homeland definitely is going to be loved and adored by many. And then you have Paisley Sky, which is a very, very trippy type of fragrance, a very, very pink, purple type of fragrance. I do like that one a lot by the fact that it's got this sort of almost like fizzy element to it. It's got something that's very uplifting, very bubbly, kind of almost bubblegum-like, but it's also very, very grounded by the amber and the vanilla, which I know that EJ just really is enjoying experimenting with at the moment. He hasn't told me that, that's just the vibe that I get. That's where I feel he's going. But the creme de la creme is Amberland. Amberland is just absolutely stunning. The thing that I really like about Amberland is that I can smell his previous work within it, and this is like the peak. So I smell On From the Holidays. I smell things like Queer Cafe, which I really enjoy, as you know, Cravat Noir, things like that. All of his other work, it just feels as though it's just sort of grown and grown and grown and grown and grown and grown and grown, and then he's just kind of got to the top of the mountain, and Amberland is amazing. Amberland does remind me of certain things, of course, like Ombre de Nuit by Christian Dior, a little bit of Amber Absolute by Tom Ford. There's kind of like a selection of greatest hits that are influences to this fragrance. To me, it's the best Happyland fragrance that's ever been released. And from one artist to another, I do feel as though I just recognise that he's hit his stride, he's hit his peak, and this is a peak fragrance for him. But if you do enjoy amber fragrances like Amber Absolute, Ombre de Nuit, and you enjoy amber yet oriental type fragrances with a little bit of resinous spice that smells sort of like a spicy Christmas dessert or something along those lines, I would really, really recommend that you go and test and go and check out Amberland by Happyland. Definitely, in my books, their best release so far. Well done, EJ. And now we get to the fragrance that I'm sure that many of you, most of you maybe, have clicked onto this video to see my opinion of, and that is this, 1 Million Parfum. I blind bought this because, you can't go to the stores right now. It really is just all about blind buying. What do I think about 1 Million Parfum, the latest 1 Million flanker? I mean, these guys have had quite a few flankers. Some have been good, some have been really not so good. And then I saw this, and I saw the little design that I thought was kind of cool. But what are my thoughts on it? Well, I think that it's probably the greatest 1 Million flanker of all time. And I also think that it's probably one of the greatest flankers of all time, up there with Dior Homme Intense, Acqua di Gio, Profumo, and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So pretty decent, really. You have two types of 1 Million fans, usually, like hardcore 1 Million fans. The first one is they love the citrus, they love the grapefruit, they love the bubblegum type of deal. The second type of fan is a little bit more rare, which is they like the darker, leathery, woodier tone that you get after that, which is quite mature, very, very good and very, very well balanced. And that is a part of the fragrance that hasn't actually been explored in the flankers like Privé and Lucky and even Cologne. Those have been going more towards that citrus element and infusing and emphasizing the sort of the more citrusy, fun element. 1 Million Parfum is the first flanker of 1 Million that has actually tried to deep dive into the more woody, leathery nuances, and by adding things such as sea salt, which was a bit weird, it really creates, in my opinion, the most mature 1 Million to date. This is my scent of the day. I absolutely freaking love it and adore it, and I think that if I continued to wear this, I would actually prefer it over 1 Million. And I really, really like 1 Million, for many nostalgic reasons. But I'm just so glad that they took the decision to go, okay, our audience has sort of grown up now since 2000 and whenever it was released. Let's actually try and make something that's a little bit more mature and a little bit more presentable to people like in their 30s or maybe in their 40s. I think everybody's going to love it. I think I can imagine loads of people would love it. I can imagine Jeremy would love it. And What's this? Jeremy's just uploaded a new video called Fragrances That You Shouldn't Buy in 2020. I'm sorry, this is a bit rude, but I wonder why...
Don't buy the new 1 million Parfum because this has an overdose of sweetness which the original already has, but it lacks the sexy grapefruit fruitiness which the original has.
Jeremy, come on. Jezza, just shut up for a second. This is really good. This is a really, really great reinterpretation of 1 million. It's going further to like a more mature element and exploring the more darker tones and the more mature tones of what 1 million is. It's something that hasn't been explored. And fair enough, mate, it doesn't have the sexy time grapefruit or whatever it is, but that isn't what this fragrance is. This is a fragrance that is more about the alluring parts of the fragrance. It's not like flashy and Ferrari time and all that kind of stuff. It's more of a calmer, more confident version of 1 million. It's more in the ilk of something like Tom Ford's Oud Wood. And what are you going to say next? Oh, don't buy Tom Ford's Oud Wood.
Another one I don't suggest you to buy is the Oud Wood by Tom Ford.
He's lost his mind. He's done it. He's gone mad. He's gone actually mad. Oud Wood? Don't buy Oud Wood? Bro. Oh, man. I knew I shouldn't have left him in Los Angeles. But seriously, I do kind of understand the criticisms of 1 million Parfum, but that is for a certain subsect of fans of 1 million. If you really like the poppy, grapefruity, sweet, citrusy elements of 1 million, and that's the gig that brought you to the dance with 1 million, this might not necessarily be for you. But if you like the dry down of 1 million, you like those deeper elements, you like the woods, you like the leathers, and you like the cedar and sandal and all of the other things that go into it that have the depth of it, then I would really, really recommend this, because this is a true exploration of all of that. And finally, Sloth by Zoologist. I won't go too much into this fragrance because there's somebody else, a good friend of mine, who might want to talk about it a little bit more in depth. So I won't encroach on his territory. But what I will say is, I'm a huge fan of Victor Wong, big fan of Zoologist, and I'm a big fan of Prin Lomros, as you know if you've been following this channel. And what's cool is it's like the fragrances, it's like a conversation. It's like a conversation between Victor Wong and Prin, and I can sort of like, it's like they're talking to each other, but in smell, because I can totally see Victor Wong's vision, but I can also detect Prin's discipline. I can detect the way that Prin like works with citrus and more lighter notes, and I can just tell it's both of them, and that's really cool. I really, really like that. It's really strong, it's really, really divisive, you know, it smells like soil and greenery, and it's very wild, as I would hope that it would be. And of course, if you're just into designers and you're into mainstream fragrances, just like run a mile away from this scent. This is not what you want. But for somebody like me who is a fan of these two gentlemen's work, yeah, it's absolutely outstanding. So well done, fellas. Really appreciate it. So the two fragrances that get my seal of approval today are Amberland from Happyland and 1 million Parfum. There you go, take the seal, it's for you. I know what Jezza has said about it, and I get it, but I really, really just disagree with him completely and fully. But of course, as always, test. Test, test, test. Don't take my word for it, don't take Jeremy's word for it, just test. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Praise. Thank you for watching The Compliment Factor, and I will see you soon. I'm out. Bye.
You know, I know we're going through weird times right now, so I hope you're staying safe and things are going well for you. I'm telling people to watch the Best of Who's line, you know, on YouTube, because it's always good to get laughs, as you know. You probably laugh at your cameraman all day, because, man, that guy is funny. I highly recommend watching the Best of Who's.
The side.